So I'm going to talk about something today that's going to actually help you get listings, because what do we want right now at this time of the year? It's getting a little colder. It typically slows down in the winter. We're in a market that has low inventory. What do we need? We need listings. That we're not short on buyers. We've got buyers. If we have listings and we price them right, the buyers come out of the woodwork all the time. People still want to buy. It's the listings we're short on. And so what do we do to get listings? And I'm going to tell you guys, if you ever tell me again that this is a tough market, a bad market, or something like that, I'm going to walk away. Drop the mic and walk away, because this is actually not a bad market. It's not a hard market. It's an easy market. So back during the crash, let's think about that, 2008, 99% of the properties out there selling, literally in the 90s, was either a foreclosure or a short sale. These were people that were in their backyards crying because they were losing their house. That was a tough market, all right? And those that made really good money were REO agents and people that were really good with short sales. I did a lot of short sale listings back then. And we had a listing team in our brokerage. Lori Anderson, I think, is she on here? If not, she was our main negotiator, negotiate with the banks. She would just sit there all day every Monday and she would call. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, I'm gonna grab a cough drop. I always keep a bag in my drawer here, so I don't start getting a frog in my throat. All right, back on track. So short sales and foreclosures were the big thing, and we were dealing with these short sales and foreclosures, and they weren't easy. They were dealing with banks. We were dealing with all this stuff. That was a tough market, and definitely a slide downward. Are we dealing with a slide downward in today's market? No, we're not. In most areas, even in some areas in Idaho, in Treasure Valley, prices have gone up. It's just not the top prices are coming down. So when you see that median sales price has gone down, that's not because prices have gone down. That's just because the only thing selling is the lower priced properties. I mean, there are higher priced properties selling. If they're priced right, then they're selling for sure. The lower priced properties are selling and actually gaining steam, actually going up in value. A property that would have sold a year ago for, say, $350,000 is now selling for pushing $400,000. So we are seeing an increase in prices depending on where you're at and depending on what price point you're looking at. In Central Valley, California, we're seeing a huge jump. I think this year is going to be pushing close to 5%. Zillow's saying it's going to be 7%, if you trust Zillow. But there's several different companies all showing in the green for prices increase this year. What does that tell you? We're in an easy market. But what it tells you is you have to do the 4-letter word is work. So let's talk about how we're going to work to get listings today. So every one of you has an opportunity. There's this thing called APA, okay, acronym APA. And you've heard me say this word before, annual property analysis. I'm going to go over the steps to an annual property analysis, and I'm going to go over the ways that you can use that today with a certain amount of phone calls made so that you can get listing appointments. They may not turn into a listing right now, but then again, if you do enough of them, a certain amount of them will turn into listings this week. Some of them will turn into listings next week. All right. Let's talk about what the annual property analysis is first. I love the way Eisenhower says this, all right? If you pull up to an intersection in LA, downtown LA, 9 times out of 10, maybe not 9 times out of 10, maybe 50% of the time, you're going to have somebody jump off the curb and start cleaning your windshield, okay? They're going to be cleaning your windshield, and then they're going to look at you and just stare at you with this sad face. Like, you going to pay me now? You going to pay me some money? What they're doing is they're doing the work first so that you will feel guilty that you have to pay them. That's what an annual property analysis is. We're doing the work, and let me explain how we do the work. Before I explain the steps to it, let me explain how we do the work. So the work is we're calling them and saying, hey, think about this. Okay, your doctor wants you to do an annual checkup a year. Your dentist wants you to do an annual checkup twice a year, every 6 months, cleaning, all right? a good attorney that you use, I know the one that we use at our brokerage in California, our Legacy Real Estate, tried to get me to do let him file our LLC for our new lending company. He wanted to file the paperwork. So he was doing a good job trying to get me to use him to do that. Everyone wants you to do an annual property analysis. Financial advisor, mine calls me every year and says, let's go over your portfolio of investments. Every year he wants to call and go over it and see if we want to increase the amount of money we put into it or if we want to go into something else. Great job, does a great job. Who else? There's so many different ones that do annual updates and reviews a year. so many different industries. Insurance agents, the same thing. My insurance agent that I used to use was State Farm. I don't use him anymore. His name's Lauren Friesen, was the best insurance agent out there that I had ever used that was good at this. Every year, he would call me and say, hey, Sean, I'm just checking in. Wanted to see if you wanted to go over all your insurance policies. I'm scheduling some appointments for next week. I wanted to see if you wanted to come by the office or we can jump on the phone and just go over it over the phone. He would leave me that message. He would want to go over what's going on with my insurance policies. Real estate's no different. And right now is the market to be doing this in because we're short on them. Again, it's not hard at all. What's hard is you making yourself do the work, the W-O-R-K, which means you got to make calls, which means you got to do it. I'm going to tell you how you can do it in neighborhoods as well. But first, the annual property analysis, we want to go in there, show them not only what their house is worth. That's not our main reason for doing it. We have steps that we do it with them. First is you got to make the phone call, and making the phone call is very simple. You can do it via text. You can do it via social media message. You can do it any way you want, but I suggest the phone call, and the phone call goes something like this. Hey, Jeff, how's it been going? I hope you guys been doing good. How's the family been? Well, great. That's awesome. So the reason for my call is I'm starting to schedule annual property analysis for anyone I know that owns homes. Just so you know what this is. This isn't just, what your house is worth. This is, let's go over the industry with you, kind of show you what's going on in the industry so you kind of know where we're going. Secondly, let's talk about from the nation down to our state, and then we're going to go over our city and then finally your neighborhood. It won't take very long. I can do it in person. We'd love to meet you in person, but I know you're a crazy busy schedule, so we can even do it via Zoom. I can send you the link right now, and we can schedule a Zoom call. Basically, I'm going to do all the work. So all the work's going to be on me to do it, and I'm just going to kind of show you. It's just a little something I do to kind of help everyone that I know that owns a house see what their house is worth so they know how much money they have in their home, just in case you ever need to pull the money out or anything. So I'm scheduling next week, and they're going to go, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to say, yeah, so I'm scheduling next week. Al, what do you got going on Thursday afternoon after work? And they're going to be like, oh, one is I'm not giving them an option. I'm saying, what do you got going on Thursday after work? You get off at 5? You got something going on at 6? Okay, great. Let's do that. Okay. Or if not, let's pick this other time. So you want to give them a time or another time. So give them two options. Perfect. What about 5 on Thursday? Okay. Or we could possibly do Monday morning if you don't go to work till late in the morning. We can do Monday morning too. Again, it won't take long. Okay. And then you book a time. Try to book a certain amount of these a week for the next week. Now we're talking, say you book 4 a week or 3 a week. 21 a month, is that right? 16 a month? That's 16 potential listing appointments per month. Now think about it this way, okay? Like the window washer that's washing the windows for you in downtown LA. Then you sit there. What if you didn't sell them this house? No worries. This is the reason why. It's like the window washer. You want them to feel guilty if they don't use you. So then you show up to the house, you meet with them, you go over the annual property analysis with them, and then you say, hey, and then they say, you know what, we had thought about selling, but possibly next year around the summertime. And just, we do have a realtor that we use and we really like them a lot. No worries, I understand that. Let's talk about next year though. You're thinking of selling. So what I should do is, since I'm here, why don't I walk around your house? Or if you do via Zoom, no worries. why don't I do this for you? It's just a little advice. What if I come by the house this weekend? What do you got going on Saturday morning at, say, 5 o'clock, or in the morning? Oh my goodness, Saturday morning, say 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll walk the house with you, and I'll just show you some things that I would recommend that I would do to prepare you for selling next year. And then you can kind of maybe give you some ideas and things you can do. I'll just kind of walk and show you some things I would suggest that's going to bring you more money. That sound good? Okay, I'll see you at 10. You show up, you're going to show them some things, and maybe some of them require construction. So you're going to offer up a contractor. Maybe they had a plumbing leak that they've been seeing that's leaking. You're going to say, that could cause you a termite inspection failure. If you want, I got a handyman that can come fix that for you. Great. So now you're setting up the handyman. Now you're setting up the contractor. Now you're setting up this and that. And then you're going to keep in touch with them throughout the year and say, hey, how's it going? Any other repairs you need fixed on your house? Anything else you think you want to do to prepare for that sale next year? Great. You've done so much work for them. If they do choose to use that other realtor, they're going to feel so bad. They're going to feel bad. Now that's okay. No, let them feel bad. What they're going to do is give you a referral. Because even if they don't choose to use you, which I bet you they will, because you gave them so much attention and love, that I bet you they end up using you. But if they don't, you're first of mind. You just created crazy mind share in them. You worked your butt off for them, and they use another agent. By golly, they're going to refer someone to you. That's the thought. So they're either going to list soon or they're going to list next year, and you're going to do a little bit of extra work so that they use you. That's the whole concept behind it. All right, so step one, the annual property analysis. What we're going to do is when we start to create this annual property analysis form, we want to have several things in there. And it's not all about the neighborhood. That's in the end. Beginning, we want to hit the national stats. We've shared lots of different national stats with you. There's several different companies that you can use to pull national stats that show different things that look up online. I can tell you a couple of them right now. FRED reports. FRED reports are government reports that you can use that pull different national numbers, and it's FRED, FRED reports. So you can pull that up and pull different ones. You can get on the National Association of Realtors and pull these national stats of what are going on. They're all on there for your fingertips use. That's why you're a member of the National Association of Realtors. Most of you are. And not to lobby for them or anything, I'm just saying, it's there. Use the content. So you're going to pull national stats of what's going on around the nation. Here's the thing. These national stats are going to be for what's going on that year. You're going to use them, all right? You're going to use some stats that happened last year in this section of your annual property analysis. You're going to use that. Spend a little time, but don't spend a ton of time in here. Just get in and get out, unless they bring it up to you and they want to talk. If they want to talk and ask questions about these things, these national stats, talk to them about it. But the goal isn't to sit in here, right? We want to keep this meeting moving. So get in there, show them the national stats, show them what's going on in the nation, show them how real estate has gone and where it's gone. This is where you use that chart I've shown you, where it shows where we started back in the 60s or 70s and 80s, where real estate was, and compared to where it is today. That is the one where you use that, where it shows the little blurb of a bubble over that many years of the 2008 crash. And then talk about that, how on average that was a $75,000 price reduction, and then it started going back up on average. Figuring the median sales price back then was about $300,000 nationally, $250,000 nationally. Now it's higher, but that was, might have went down to about maybe $175,000 median sales price, then it went right back up. So it wasn't a huge drop like people think, and that's where you can show them that chart. You can show them. That's that national portion. The second portion is going to be your local state, not your local state, but your state that you're in. You want to pull the stats. California Association of Realtors, Idaho Real Estate Commission, in Tennessee, I believe it's called the TREC. I think it's TREC, Tennessee Regional. Anyway, I can't remember. I used to know what it was, but I don't know now. But each state has their state numbers, and you get on there, you pull the state stats, and then you spend a little time going over those. That's your next section, the state stacks. You want to kind of cover it, but again, get in and get out. Unless they ask questions, and you can stick in there a little bit, but otherwise, get in and get out. Show them the stats and move on. And then you're going to jump into the third is going to be your city. The cities are easy to find. Each one of you have access to market stats in your MLS. If you get in there, you'll see stats. In Idaho, you'll see it on the right. There's some stats options, some icons or apps you can click on that'll show you state stats. California, you go to market stats. It's called market, can't remember what it's called. I actually pinned it. You go to the menu and you'll find it down on the bottom. And that's where you can pull the stats for what's going on in your, you can choose counties, which that should be part of this. Choose the county and then choose the city. Do it all together though. That's number 3. Do it all together. And again, get in and get out, but show what's going on in the city that they're in, all right? The final part of the annual property analysis where we get into the bread and butter is where now you're gonna talk about their neighborhood, all right? That's where we're gonna spend the most time. You're in and out of the other ones, unless they wanna talk. And then get into there and show them what's going on in their specific strategic neighborhoods. Show them how things are changing. Show them what's sold in the last year, because these are year-over-year reports. Show them what's currently pending, what's sold, all that. And then we're going to show them how much money they've made. My suggestion is also pull a net sheet. You need to find out how much they owe on the house. Pull a net sheet to show them how much equity they currently have in their house. This is always, if they've owned their house 2 years or more, this is always a positive conversation, because like I said, we've always gone up since the 70s. All right, we have not, on average, you're going to see that over the last year, even in Idaho, unless you're showing someone that's in the millions, you're going to show a little bit of a price drop. That's not a bad conversation to have. That's where you bring in the conversation about, okay, so in this area, particular area, it went up so high because we had a lot of people moving from California in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and they were selling $1 million homes. So they did shove the price up on a lot of these upper end neighborhoods much higher than where they should have been. So they had a little bit to go down. It's okay, because just know that this is market value. You paid this much for the property. If they just bought it last year, they're going to be losing money, guys. But the conversation is, that's where you tell them, just know it will go back up. We don't know how many years, months, years it's going to take for it to start crawling back up, and it will eventually go back up. Just know you have an investment here. Like any investment, those people that own homes in that higher price range understand investments, guys. Like most investments, you sit on them long enough, they start to go back up, and they'll understand, they'll be shaking their head. In some neighborhoods, though, you're going to be able to show them, if they've owned for 2 years or more, that they have gained value. And then that's a great opportunity for you to talk about things like, yeah, so, I mean, what do you guys think of your neighborhood? You want to get into that. These are conversations you have after showing them this. What do you think of your neighborhood so far? What do you love about your neighborhood? What's in this neighborhood that you wish it had that it doesn't have? And that's when you're able to go down the line of, okay, so if you could have the perfect property today, would it look like this one, or would it look like something different? And if so, what neighborhood or what area of Idaho or California or the United States would you want to find that? Okay. To make that a reality, how soon would that be? I mean, what would have to happen to make that a reality? And then you get into that conversation. Excellent. Well, that's goals. So here's the deal. I mean, you got me along the way. I'll keep you updated on your property and what it's worth. And let's talk about your house now, and if there's anything that you need to do that might bring you more value over time. So when that time comes, you're ready to go. You're going to find some people are going to say, yeah, we have thought about making this move in the next year. We have thought about making this move, and it could happen as soon as the next 6 months. But you won't know that unless you call them and set up the annual property analysis. You see how you lose out on opportunities like this? How your friends end up selling their house for them because you all have friends that are realtors? Because either they're doing a better job at staying first of mind, or they called them and did an annual property analysis with them. This isn't new. This is an old tactic. I'm just saying, now's the time to do this. So first of mind is what you want. If you don't work, W-O-R-K, and call them and offer these services up, you won't get the listing. You will if you get lucky. If you have mind share with their mind, you will get the listing. But if you don't have that mind share, you've got to call them and create it. And this is an excellent opportunity to do that.